When it comes to anxiety recovery, we are looking towards navigation and not elimination. What do I mean by this? I mean that the very essence of what your anxiety disorder is, of your problem with fear is the fact that you want to eliminate it. And the way that we transform anxiety, the way that we move through it and out of the anxiety disorder, is to learn to become comfortable in our anxious discomfort. How do we do this? For example, I will talk very briefly about my own experience. So I would say beforehand, when I didn't have the right information regarding anxiety, to learn to accept it, move with it. But at the start, as I say in many other videos, I didn't focus on that. I just focused on not resisting the anxiety, dropping the resistance. And so once you do this, you will actually find out that your anxiety might rise. But through knowledge, that will break the cycle of anxiety. If you allow it to rise up, to manifest in whatever way it wishes, it actually dies down because your nervous system catches onto that and obviously sees that it is no threat and eventually will turn off the adrenaline off. So it's very, very interesting how we see the mechanics of an anxiety disorder is very much predicated upon the fact that it is fueled by resistance. It is fueled by your resistance towards the anxiety. And your fear of fear is exactly what drives fear onwards and makes it more persistent and actually adds fuel to the flames of fear. And I just want to, there's many different angles I can come across with this, but what I want to obviously stay on, of course, is talking about navigation through anxiety and not elimination. So let me give you another example of this. So in my own life, I think I remember once I started a bit of a part-time job. I think I was doing a trade with a friend, and it was to, of course, expose myself to my fears and to allow myself to feel fear, to stay in the fear and learn not to fear it. I remember, I think I came back from that shift, or either it was the day before or the day before another shift, that I think I went out on my bike, and I remember visiting my friend, and I remember all of a sudden these symptoms started coming back up. The fuzzy chest feeling, just these sensations of impending doom. And beforehand, what I would have done, I would have resisted it, I would have feared it, I would have gotten frustrated, like, why am I not out of this yet? What's happening to me? And yet what we see is that when we truly drop the resistance towards it through knowledge, because truly this is the knowledge of anxiety recovery and the mechanics of the anxiety disorder will break the cycle. As Claire Weeks talks about it, she's very, very renowned for anxiety recovery. I would say she is a hero, and that's quite a big word to say, but I will call her a hero. She helped me in many, many ways, and does help people sort of eliminate their anxiety through accepting it, moving through it. And she's from Australia, and she said, when the big waves come, we don't stand up against them. We get dumped if we do. We go under them willingly. And obviously, she is referring to the waves of anxiety that appear out of any reason. And it could be a person, could be a situation, could be this, could be that. But that example I was talking about with my friend happened for no reason. And so it's an amazing thing that when you are experiencing anxiety, this anxiety disorder, you cannot control when your anxiety comes, but once you learn to truly move with it, through it, it's incredible. Claire Weeks talks about this. We are reversing the pattern. We're changing the mood towards it. And also, I would like to touch on the fact that anxiety is not a mental illness. Anxiety is not a mental illness. It is a behavioral problem that can be corrected with the right information. Byron McDonough talks about this from Dare Anxiety. He talks about the fact that it is a learning problem, not a mental illness or a mental disorder or a mental illness developing. It is simply a behavioral issue. And it's interesting how Well, there's a doctor from Ireland called Dr. Harry Barry, and he talks about, are people born with anxiety? Is it genetic? Is it environmental? It's sort of hard to tell. But what we do know is that if you have fallen into an anxiety disorder, it is simply a trap that you fell into. And the trap is that you had a fear of fear. And that fear had, that illusion of fear held you captive. I'll give you another example of my life. I had my first panic attack when I was 9 years old. I was on my way to my sister's church in the morning. I was with my family in the car. We were on our way onto the A470 heading up towards Cardiff, and a massive traffic jam appears. And I never actually had a fear of traffic or phobia of cars or motors or whatever. But there was something in me that when I was sitting in the back of the car with my mother, these unbelievable feelings of fear started to arise. And as a 9-year-old, I mean, how are you going to respond to that? As a 9-year-old, you are going to respond to fear. So I responded with fear. Had a major panic attack. I remember my father opening up the boot and me walking around the car on the road and seeing all the fumes. I still remember it to this day. And even after that, I found it incredibly difficult to step inside a car. And of course I had to face my fear every single day, because I was going to a school that was quite far away from me, so I had no choice. So I had that fear very, very persistently. And it's very, very interesting to find out how obsessions and how phobias arise, because you are not actually afraid. I'm not actually afraid. I wasn't actually afraid of traffic or the road or just cars, for example. I wasn't. It wasn't that. I was afraid of myself. Will I panic? Will I collapse? What will I do in this situation? Will I feel these uncomfortable sensations? And so what we learn is to learn to embrace fear, to go towards it. Because when we actually go towards it, once we actually demand more of the fear, we actually shatter the illusion that the fear holds of us. That's all I've got to say, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Let me know if this, if you found this helpful, informative in any single way. I'll see you guys all in my next video. God bless, and just know that this anxiety problem that you have, this fear issue, is not forever. This is a behavioral problem that can be corrected with the right information. God bless, and see you soon.